Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Robin Dunford, a publishing consultant. His specialist subject is orchids of the British Isles. Ramona McKnight, a logistics administrator, whose subject is the award-winning television comedy series Schitt's Creek. Joseph Gregg, a student. He'll be answering questions on the American satirical songwriter Tom Lehrer. And Maura Kenny, a stock assistant. Her subject is the Second World War intelligence plot, Operation Mincemeat. Is all the pain and angst worth it, I hear you cry? The months of revision, the mental training, the different stratagems to calm the nerves. Well, if your heart is set on winning this glorious glass bowl and you'd like to crow that you're a mastermind champion, then oh yes, the angst is worth it. 2 minutes on a specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge will decide if your training's been up to snuff. We'll soon find out. So can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
Robin Dunford.
Your occupation?
Publishing consultant.
And your specialist subject?
Orchids of the British Isles.
Yes, the more than 50 species of flowering plant of the family Orchidaceae, native to the British Isles. In 2 minutes, let's go. What's the common name of Epipogium aphyllum, a rare orchid whose lack of chlorophyll gives the plant an unusual white and pinkish-brown colour?
Ghost orchid.
Yes, which native orchid of the genus Anacamptis, pollinated primarily by moths and butterflies, has a name that reflects the overall shape formed by its flowers?
Pyramidal orchid.
Yes, what's the botanical name for an orchid's lip, the modified petal that acts as a landing platform for the insects that pollinate it?
Labellum.
Yes, which orchid, native to parts of southeast England, belongs to the genus Himantoglossum and can reach heights of around 3 feet?
Lizard orchid.
Yes, when an orchid seed begins to germinate, it swells to form a round tuber-like structure known by what name?
Pseudocorm.
No, protocorm. What 200-square-mile area of rocky landscape in the west of Ireland is commonly described as the stronghold of the dense flowered orchid?
The Burren.
Yes, which orchid genus includes the bee orchid and the fly orchid, 2 species whose insect-shaped lips trick insects into trying to mate with them?
Ophrys.
Yes. What tiny flowered orchid of the genus Pseudorchis is widespread in northwest Scotland, although its first recorded sighting in Britain, described in the 1670s, was on Mount Snowdon in Wales?
Small white orchid.
Yes. What botanical name is given to the sticky pad, sometimes called the glue blob, which is positioned between the anther and stigma of most orchids and assists in attaching pollen to visiting insects?
Physcidium.
Yes, in the 1990s, the early spider orchid colonized what newly created nature reserve in Kent, with its population there having grown to more than 11,000 by 2012.
Samphire hoe.
Yes, which orchid species has the scientific name Herminium monorchis, a reference to the fact that, unusually, it has only one fully developed tuber when it flowers?
Musk orchid.
Yes, what word coined by the botanist Henry Light in the 16th century and referring to the plant's paired leaves follows lesser and common in the names of 2 orchids of the genus Neotia?
Twayblade.
It is Twayblade. Robin, you had no passes at the end of that round. You've got 11 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Ramona McKnight.
Your occupation?
Logistics administrator.
And your specialist subject?
Schitt's Creek.
The Emmy Award-winning sitcom about the previously wealthy Rose family forced to move to the Canadian backwater town of the title. In 2 minutes, let's go. The Rose family comprises the businessman Johnny Rose, his spoilt son and daughter David and Alexis, and his wife Moira, a former star of what fictional television soap?
Sunrise Bay.
Yes, according to the sign outside the town hall, the town of Schitt's Creek, the whole of which was bought by Johnny as a joke present for David in 1991, was incorporated in which year of the 19th century?
1895.
Yes, Stevie Budd, the sarcastic receptionist at the rundown motel where the Rose family take up residence, becomes the owner of the property when it's bequeathed to her by a great aunt with what first name?
Maureen.
Yes, what's the name of the grocery store where David is taken on as a trainee bag boy, although he loses the position because his father keeps telephoning him at work?
Brabants.
No, Brebners. The series was created by Eugene Levy and his son Dan, who played Johnny and David respectively, and also features Dan's sister Sarah in the role of witch waitress at the local cafe.
Twyla.
Yes, Stevie, who becomes disillusioned with working at the motel, secures a job as a flight attendant with what small airline, which has only 3 scheduled services.
Larry Eyre.
Yes, Moira hopes to revive her acting career with a role in the film The Crows Have Eyes, Part 3, which is directed by an ambitious filmmaker known only by what single-word name?
Blair.
Yes, what's the full name of the businessman who agrees to buy the town from Johnny for $1 million, but unfortunately for the Roses, falls into a coma before he can sign the contract?
Andy Roberts.
Yes, Moira is concerned when images from her early career appear on the internet and reveals that in the 1970s she had some very tasteful nude pictures taken by which real-life American photographer?
Richard Avedon.
Yes, the mayor's son, Mott, who's the first man Alexis dates in the town, later goes out with someone else who has which US state as her first name?
Tennessee.
Yes, when Alexis auditions for Moira's production of Cabaret, it's revealed that she was once taught by the vocal coach of which famous singer and actress?
Barbara Streisand.
Although the coach quit after just 2 lessons. Yes, it was Barbara Streisand. So, Ramona, at the end of that round, no passes, you've got 10 points. And our next contender, please. Your name,
Joseph Gregg.
your occupation,
Student,
and your specialist subject.
Tom Lehrer.
The American musical satirist and mathematician born in 1928. In 2 minutes, let's go. According to the title of one of Tom Lehrer's best-known songs, which creatures are being poisoned in the park?
Pigeons.
Yes, in 1946, at the age of 18, Lehrer graduated with a BA degree in mathematics from which Ivy League university?
Harvard.
Yes, Lehrer's first public performance outside Harvard was in 1952, at which Boston nightclub in Kenmore Square near Boston University?
Alpini's Rendezvous.
Yes, which song on Lehrer's debut 1953 LP includes the lines, "The land of the boll weevil, where the laws are medieval"?
I Want to Go Back to Dixie.
Yes, when Lehrer was drafted into the US Army from 1955 to 57, he served at which government agency?
The National Security Agency.
Yes, on Lehrer's second LP, An Evening Wasted with Tom Lehrer, recorded live at the Sanders Theatre, Harvard in March 1959. His spoken introduction to which song includes a reference to National Gallbladder Week?
It Makes a Fellow Proud to be a Soldier.
No, in Old Mexico in July 1959, Lehrer re-recorded all the songs he'd sung live on An Evening Wasted with Tom Lehrer as a studio album entitled More of Tom Lehrer at which New York recording studio?
RCA Recording Studios.
Yes, RCA Victor. In the song The Masochism Tango, what line follows and rhymes with Blacken My Eye?
Swear That You're Mine.
No, Set Fire to My Tie. In the elements set to the music of Gilbert and Sullivan's Major General's song, Lehrer lists all 102 elements of the periodic table as it stood in 1959. Which element is mentioned last in the song?
Sodium.
Yes, in 1964. Lehrer wrote some songs for the American version of the satirical television program That Was the Week That Was, including which song mocking the observance of a designated week?
National Brotherhood Week.
Yes, in 1973, Lehrer commented that political satire became obsolete when the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to whom?
Henry Kissinger.
Yes, Lehrer returned to academia and seldom performed from the mid-1960s onwards. At which campus of the University of California did he teach mathematics from 1972 until his retirement in 2001?
Berkeley.
No, Santa Cruz. OK, Joseph, at the end of that round, no passes. You've got 9 points.
Thank you, Clive.
And our final contender, please. Your name,
Maura Kenny,
your occupation,
stock assistant,
and your specialist subject.
Operation Mincemeat.
The Second World War deception to divert German attention from the planned invasion of Sicily using a dead body with a false identity. In 2 minutes, let's go. What was the name of the Welshman whose corpse was dressed as the fictitious Major William Martin and planted with fake correspondence?
Glyndŵr Michael.
Yes, what name was given to the memo issued in 1939 by Rear Admiral John Godfrey, which included more than 50 ideas for wartime deceptions, including the one that was eventually used in the operation?
The Trout Memo.
Yes, which lieutenant commander was Godfrey's personal assistant who was likely the main writer of the Trout Memo?
Ian Fleming.
Yes, which room in the Admiralty building served as the headquarters for Section 17M, the team led by the Naval Intelligence Officer Ewan Montague that was responsible for planning Operation Mincemeat?
Room 13.
Yes, what 1937 detective novel, written by Basil Thompson, was credited by Fleming as the inspiration for the idea of planting forged documents on a corpse?
The Plane.
No, The Milliner's Hat Mystery. To make the fictional Major Martin appear real, one of the letters carried by him was from his father and purported to have been written at which hotel in Mold, North Wales?
The Black Lion.
Yes, to ensure that the fake documents were passed to the Germans, Major Martin's body was floated ashore near the Spanish town of Huelva, home to which wealthy German spy and collector of butterflies?
Adolf Klaus.
Yes, among Major Martin's possessions were 2 ticket stubs dated 22nd of April 1943. For what variety show at the Prince of Wales Theatre?
Strike a New Note.
Yes, when drafting the documents to include in Major Martin's briefcase, the exact spelling of which Greek city was the source of a brief but fierce debate within British intelligence?
Kalamata.
Yes, at the time, she was loaded with the body of Major Martin to transport it to the Spanish coast. The submarine HMS Seraph was moored in which Scottish sea lock to the west of Greenock?
Holy Loch.
Yes, underwear belonging to which historian, the late warden of New College, Oxford, was part of the clothing ensemble worn by Major Martin because of the need for officer-quality clothing that was worn and not brand new?
H.A.L. Fisher.
Yes, as well as the fake documents. I've started so finish. As well as the fake documents, Major Martin was also carrying the proofs for a pamphlet entitled Combined Operations, written by which author?
Hilary Saunders.
It was Hilary Saunders. Maura, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 11 points.
Thank you.
It's nicely poised at the end of the specialist subjects round. So let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 9 points, it's Joseph. In 3rd place with 10 points is Ramona. And in joint 1st place with 11 points are Robin and Maura. So now the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Joseph to join us again, please. Joseph, you start with 9 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. In a common superstition, walking beneath what item of equipment used for climbing or descending is believed to bring bad luck?
Ladders.
Yes, the horror film villain Freddy Krueger, who attacks his victims in their dreams, first appeared in what 1984 film?
Kramer versus Kramer.
No, A Nightmare on Elm Street. What name is given to the style of typeface characterized by letters that slope to the right? That was first used in Venice in the 16th century.
Italics.
Yes, the highly eccentric elliptical orbit of which planet in our solar system means that its distance from the sun varies between 29 million and 43 million miles?
Venus.
No, Mercury. In the name of the governing body of tennis in England, the letter L in the abbreviation LTA stands for what word?
Lawn.
Yes, the anthem Zadok the Priest was composed by Handel for the coronation of which British monarch in 1727?
George II.
Yes, in a standard set of 28 dominoes, what's the highest total number of pips to appear on a single tile?
6.
No, 12. Which Scottish group fronted by Jim Kerr had a UK #1 single in 1989 entitled Belfast Child?
Pass.
What word for a period of general economic decline is also defined more specifically as 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth in a country's gross domestic product?
Depression.
No, recession. What French term meaning under vacuum is used in English to describe food that's vacuum sealed before being cooked in a temperature-controlled water bath and then chilled?
Sous vide.
Yes, the Conservative politician Kwasi Kwarteng served for a brief period as Chancellor of the Exchequer in 2022 under which UK Prime Minister?
Liz Truss.
Yes, in Arthurian legend, what name was given to the vacant seat at King Arthur's Round Table that could safely be occupied only by the knight destined to find the Holy Grail?
Galahad.
No, Siege Perilous, the comedy partners who starred together as the title characters of the television series Jeeves and Wooster in the early 1990s are Stephen Fry and which other actor?
Hugh Laurie.
Yes. What's the capital city and chief port of Liberia?
Freetown.
No, Monrovia. What's the first name of the Italian designer with the surname Gabbana, who, with Domenico Dolce, established a hugely successful fashion label in 1985?
Andrea.
No, Stefano. The Oscar-nominated films The Blind Side, Moneyball and The Big Short are all based on best-selling books by which American author?
Pass.
What adjective, derived from the Latin word for day, is the opposite of nocturnal and is used to describe animals that are active during the day?
Hibernal.
No, diurnal. And Joseph, you had just the 2 passes. The writer of the books upon which The Blind Side, Moneyball and Big Short movies were based, Michael Lewis. And Jim Kerr, he fronted the Scottish group Simple Minds. That's the one. And at the end of that round, Joseph, you've got 16 points.
Thank you, Clive.
Next up, let's have Ramona. So, Ramona, you start with 10 points. The score to beat as it stands is 16 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. In the abbreviation APR for the yearly cost of a loan, the letter A stands for what word?
Annual.
Yes, the baseball franchise nicknamed the Braves, who won the World Series in 2021, were based in Boston and then Milwaukee until 1966, when they moved to which city in Georgia?
Atlanta.
Yes, diabetes results from a reduced ability of the body to produce or process what hormone?
Insulin.
Yes, which British duo comprising Tracy Thorn and Ben Watt released their debut album Eden in 1984 and reached number 3 in the UK chart in 2023 with an album entitled Fuse?
Pass.
What was the name of the American sheriff who, in 1881, shot and killed the outlaw known as Billy the Kid?
Ford.
No, Pat Garrett. Which Paralympic gold medal-winning swimmer was the subject of a television program subtitled Finding My Secret Family, which won a BAFTA in 2024 in the single documentary category?
Ellie Simmons.
Yes, in geology, what word of Greek origin is applied to a rock with an internal cavity lined or filled with crystals, with specimens often cut in half and displayed as ornaments?
Ammonite.
No, geode. The British film studio, famous for its post-war comedies such as The Lady Killers and Kind Hearts and Coronets, takes its name from which London borough where it's still located?
Soho.
No, Ealing. In 2021, Petr Fiala was sworn in as the new Prime Minister of which EU country?
Poland.
No, Czech Republic. In Roman numerals, which letter is used to denote the number 5?
V.
Yes, what's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet is a quote from which play by William Shakespeare?
Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, a dandy dinmont is a breed of what household pet?
Cat.
No, dog. What name derived from Latin words for hand and care is given to a cosmetic treatment of the hands and fingernails?
Manicure.
Yes, which British pop singer married the New Zealand filmmaker Taika Waititi in Los Angeles in August 2022?
Rita Ora.
Yes, which NASA astronaut was the first person to fly 2 Apollo lunar missions, although he never set foot on the moon, remaining in orbit on both occasions?
John Glenn.
No, Jim Lovell. Rajab, Shaban and Shawwal are months in the calendar of which religion?
Islam.
Yes, the Hungarian Rhapsodies are a series of works for solo piano written from So finish. The Hungarian Rhapsodies are a series of works for solo piano written from 1846 onwards by which composer?
Liszt.
It is Franz Liszt. Was that a guess? Yes. Well, it worked. You've just got the 1 pass, Ramona. Everything But the Girl is the band that Tracy Thorn and Ben Watt started back in 1984. And at the end of that round, Ramona, you've got 20 points.
Thank you.
Next up is Robin. Robin, you start with 11 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 20 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What's the name of the cartoon mouse who is chased by a cat named Tom in their namesake series of MGM cartoons?
Jerry.
Yes, the Aventine, the Palatine and the Capitoline are 3 of the 7 hills that were the location of the origins of which ancient city?
Rome.
Yes, in May 2024, which football club won the Men's Scottish Cup with a 1-0 victory over Rangers in the final?
Celtic.
Yes, in maths, what's the value of 4 factorial?
24.
Yes, what word of French origin for a fluffy ball of wool attached to a hat for decoration is also used for the cluster of streamers shaken or waved by cheerleaders?
Pom-pom.
Yes, which species of shark, which can grow up to 40 feet long and is the 2nd largest fish in the world, is noted for swimming with its mouth wide open?
Whale shark.
No, basking shark. What Andrew Lloyd Webber stage musical features songs entitled Rolling Stock, Freight and Light at the End of the Tunnel?
Starlight Express.
Yes, what rhyming Greek term meaning the many is used in English as a pejorative term for the masses or the rabble?
Hoi polloi.
Yes, which actress won the first of her 2 Oscars for her performance as a model and socialite called Gloria Wondrous in the 1960 film Butterfield 8?
Pass.
Which Nigerian-born author and Booker Prize winner was awarded a knighthood in King Charles III's 2023 birthday honours list?
Pass.
Paneer is a South Asian variety of what dairy product?
Cheese.
Yes, which country music singer noted for his yodeling had 3 consecutive UK #1 singles in the 1960s with I Remember You, Lovesick Blues and The Wayward Wind?
Pass.
What term is used in physics for the upward force that acts on the underside of the wings of an aircraft during flight?
Lift.
Yes, what religious organisation is sometimes referred to informally as the Sally Ann?
Salvation Army.
Yes, what's the name of the Soviet-born chess grandmaster who, in 1985, at the age of 22, became the youngest undisputed world champion by beating the then-champion Anatoly Karpov?
Garry Kasparov.
Yes, the English Canal that flows for 127 miles from the air and Calder navigation to the River Mersey is named after the 2 cities it connects. One is Liverpool, which is the other?
Leeds.
Yes, which DC comic superhero is the alter ego of Barry Allen, a forensic scientist with the Central City Police Department?
Iron Man.
No, it's the Flash. Robin, you had 3 passes. The famous yodeler, Frank Ifield. Ben Okri is the Nigerian-born author and Booker Prize winner who was knighted in the 2023 list, and Elizabeth Taylor is the actress who won the first of her 2 Oscars for Butterfield 8. And at the end of that round, Robin, you've got 23 points.
Thank you.
And finally, let's have Maura again, please. Maura, you start with 11 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Robin's 23 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. Which European country has the International Vehicle Registration Code, IRL?
Ireland.
Yes, what adjective used to describe a mocking statement that expresses the opposite of what is actually meant is often abbreviated to the word sarky?
Sarcastic.
Yes, a singer named Sydney Christmas won the 2024 series of which television show with her rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
The Masked Singer.
No, Britain's Got Talent. What's the name of the South Korean diplomat who served as Secretary General of the United Nations from 2007 to 2016?
Smith.
No, Ban Ki-moon. What relation was King Edward IV to Richard III, who succeeded to the throne of England in 1483 after Edward's children were declared illegitimate?
Brother.
Yes, a pathologist called Dr. K. Scarpetta is the main character in a series of crime novels, including the 2021 book Autopsy by which American author?
Dan Brown.
No, Patricia Cornwell. What term is used in golf for a score of 1 under par at a particular hole?
Eagle.
No, birdie. What surname is shared by Niels, a Danish physicist who received the 1922 Nobel Prize in Physics, and his son, Olga, who won the same prize in 1975?
Boar.
Yes, Braben, Discovery and Gala are popular varieties of what fruit?
Apple.
Yes, the 1997 film Nil by Mouth, starring Ray Winston and Kathy Burke, was the directorial debut of which British actor and writer?
Ridley Scott.
No, Gary Oldman. In knitting, what stitch pattern, sometimes known as knit stitch or plain knitting, is produced if all the rows are knitted in plain stitch rather than alternating with purl?
Straight.
No, garter stitch. In the early 2000s, which group topped the UK singles chart with Whole Again and cover versions of the songs Eternal Flame and The Tide is High?
Steps.
No, Atomic Kitten. What name, a Latin word for a small pit, is given to the shallow depression at the centre of the retina of the eye, which contains a large concentration of cone cells?
Hole.
No, Fovea. Which city is the state capital of Western Australia?
Victoria.
No, Perth. What word is used in maths to describe a square consisting of a grid of numbers in which each row, each column, and both main diagonals add up to the same total?
Magic Square.
Yes. What's the title of the 15-minute current affairs programme aimed at young people that was launched on BBC Radio 1 in 1973?
Newsnight.
No, Newsbeat. In Greek mythology, after being seduced by Zeus, Alcmene... I've started, so I'll finish. Alcmene, the wife of Amphitryon, became the mother of which hero?
Perseus.
No, Heracles. Maura, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 17 points. So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 16 points is Joseph. In third place with 17 points is Maura. In second place with 20 points is Ramona, which means in first place with 23 points it's Robin, and he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. If you'd like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Until you sit in that chair, you really can't tell how terrifying it's going to be. You can shout all the answers you like at the TV, but until you sit there and face Clive, you just don't know what's coming. I chose British orchids because both my parents are really into nature and the natural world. My dad grows a lot of orchids at home. Ghost orchid.
Yes.
Ophrys.
Yes.
Musk orchid.
Yes.
Plants are fascinating things, and orchids are just so extreme. Twayblade.
It is. Twayblade.
So I just seemed a really quirky group of plants to specialise in.
Robin, you had no passes at the end of that round. You've got 11 points.
Thank you. My partner's been helping me revise. We drove up to Scotland for a walking holiday, and all the way up in the car, I said, well, I'll drive, and you ask me questions, and she went through thousands and thousands of general knowledge questions. So she's really put up with a lot.
In first place with 23 points, it's Robin, and he goes through to the semi-finals.
I'm going to celebrate my win by putting my orchid books away and by being back at my desk at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So yeah, no rest for the wicked.